the seller. It's not a good situation at all. The second problem is they market for their investors. They're looking for that investor buyer illegally by putting out on social media the exact address, pictures of the outside of the house. You can do that if you have a license. If you're a realtor or broker, you can do that. But if you don't own it and you didn't take title to it, you only have a contract. You only have an agreement on paper. You have equitable interest, so you need to be marketing the contract. So if you put it out on Craigslist, you say, contract for sale, okay? Not a house for sale. You got the contract for sale. Does that make sense? Simple enough? But so many people are doing this wrong. So, the wholesaling police. Are there wholesaling police? Yes, every state has an association of real estate licensed law officials. This happens to be Ohio. I put up Ohio because I do know Jeff Watson. I have taken his legal wholesaling course because I was paranoid about a lot of the stuff going on, and I just wanted to make sure that my documents were right and straight. He's also very famous for IRA investing. He sits on the board of Quest IRA, for self-directed IRA. So the wholesaling police in each state, it's the real estate professionals. Kim Wells is the leader, and what Jeff does, he's actually pitching to them, saying, how can we do this so it's kosher? We want to make sure that we're doing this right. Well, one of the things is, you really shouldn't flip a $10 bill for earnest money. I'm guilty, I've done it in the past. But how earnest is 10 bucks, guys? Come on, that's not earnest. Come on, guys. I even saw a couple contracts floating around Milwaukee that had nothing. They didn't even write the zero. There just was no number on there at all. I'm like, no mention of earnest money. So I was like, all right, that's a new one. I never saw that before. So there are wholesaling police, and we do want to keep it on the up and up. So when you do it the right way, guys, it can be very profitable. Here's one of my checks. Someone up front, can you see the amount on that check? $16,000. This was a place up on Washington Road. The owner had code violations. So he had a full-time job, and he was going to flip this baby. He was going to flip it. It took him a year and a half. He hit the wall. He couldn't do it anymore. I'm done, and I am not going in front of that judge one more time for code violations. And that was his big thing. I said, what do you need for the house? He said, $13,000. I said, yeah. 13,000. We can do that. So, but his hot button was, I don't want to have to go in front of that judge, so you better get this done in 3 weeks. So I had a real quick showing. I set everything up. I didn't own it, but I just said, advertiser showing through the REIA, through my networking. We'll be showing it for an hour and a half. So I had like 4 investors come out, got someone to take it for $29,000. The seller walked away with a check for $13,000. I walked away with a check for $16,000. Pretty good, huh? I liked it. Pretty good. So I did not. I did not double close that. So, but the guy I wholesaled it to was, it was his first wholesale. So he's looking at the assignment agreement. He's like, let me get this straight. You're going to make $16,000 on this? And I'm like, uh-huh. And he's like, yeah, I'm 29. That's a good price. Brand new roof, huge brand new roof. That's a good price. One tenant was in there, one was not, but it didn't need a whole lot of work yet. And he said, I just want to know how it fits together. And he didn't turn his back on me. He said, that's still a great deal. The numbers made sense for him at 29. So the deal stayed together. So, but in general, now that I'm a little more seasoned, I don't like to venture too much higher than 10. Because when you get in those double digits, people get a little fidgety. What if you got 2? Anyone read that amount? $17,100. This guy had a vacant house on 22nd and Layton, and it was vacant for 2 years. And it was kind of just like his collection. His uncle died, his mom died, he moved to a condo, and oh, the story went on and on and on. Oh, that appointment was terrible. Oh my God. Help me, I'm praying, get me out, you know. I knew it was a good deal, but this guy was a talker. He's walking me around the whole yard, telling me the possibilities. You could put another garage here. I know this shed is crappy, he said, but you could put another garage here and whatever. And then he's telling me about these trees, and I'm like, are we ever going to get around to the side door and get in? I tell you, I kid you not, it was 1 hour before he opened the door for me. I'm like, I gotta pick up my kids from school, man. How can we get in here? He was the longest-winded of all. But finally, you know, after going back and forth, it was more about relationship. He was just a talker. He was just a talker. You know, so I had to sit through a bowl of soup at Benny's Cafe with him. Oh, Lord have mercy. But the nice thing is, when I went to Benny's Cafe, the second time I met him, I asked him to bring his statement, his bank statement, so I could see what he owed on it. And he flipped it over to me, because he was telling me the whole time, it's got to be a short sale. It's got to be a short sale. I'll just tell the bank it's a short sale. I said, oh, that's great. You're going to tell the bank it's a short sale, and they're just going to be happy to do that for you. Yeah, I had no clue. So I got through the bowl of soup, he showed me the data, and I said, will you sell for what you owe on it? He said, yeah, $55,000. So I have my little, I can't really call it an open house because I didn't own it, but arranged for a showing. Everybody come within this hour, everybody come and see it. I want your highest and your best by tomorrow night. Well, some California buyer offered me I think it was 71,100 or 72,1. So that's why that amount. So this seller walked away from closing with a check for $700. I walked away with a check for $17,100. And the California buyer, it was a single family home, California guy, he flipped it. He flipped it. So now I'm just getting off the beaten track just a little because this house is so special to me. This house, Susie helped me get this house. It was an MLS deal, and we got it under contract. It was a grandma house. There was a wheelchair elevator out in front of it, you know, so I knew it was kind of a grandpa house, sort of, you know. So it was MLS. I think we offered in the 50s. Then we came back and it was winter. We offered in the 60s. And then we finally said 72 and they took it. So they took that. So the prehab, we just did a simple prehab average. This is Wilson Park, South 17th Street, just north of Howard. If you know the Wilson Park area, that's where this is. Okay, our exit strategy, because of the zip code, tells us to prehab, just average, keep it average. We resold this for $139,000, and I made $50,000. And I have to get off the beaten path because this means so much to me. There's my check, $50,800, whatever. Guys, that was my salary in the factory. Yes. So I was like, yes. I still get goosebumps telling the story. It took me 4 months to get in and out, but I got a lot better than a year. Got a lot better than a year. So you start saying, I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. So it gets better. But this, you know, I said, this is not about wholesaling, it was a prehab, but guys, this is just so special to me because that was my salary. And I got one and got it done quickly. Now this past winter, this was a prehab, Wauwatosa, no garage, just lipstick and rouge. The only thing I did do, because I had cabinets from 91 to 40, and it was in Wauwatosa, so I thought, I better not just paint those. I better get some good cabinets in here. So we did. We did not go with granite. And anyone can read that check?
$71,880.87.
$71,880. I bought it September 25th, and we were out of there closing January 25th.
You said you wouldn't get your loan to a couple of people too.
Right, and in the middle of the winter, polar vortex and all that jazz, we managed, I think we had an offer in 4 days, on the fourth day. But we clean them, we stage them, you know, we're doing it right. We're putting out a nice product, you know. So, Laurel's Real Estate Training, it's the real deal. This is one of the testimonials from one of my first apprentices I started last year in the summer. Ms. Laurel has a system in place that can help anyone become an investor if you're coachable, guys. Please, that's key. So within the 6-week class, I was able to get a house under contract, and we found a buyer in 4 days later. So a cash buyer grabbed that up in 4 days. If you're curious, pick up the phone or shoot her a message. Thank you for your expertise. A. Flowers from Milwaukee. She came through my first group. We were out, now, I started last June, guys. We had a dozen people out at the Botanical Gardens because the classroom was only $25, and that's about what I could afford at that time. So here we are going on field trips. So we're going to do a field trip. We're going to go out, check out a J&D house. We will do that. But, so here we were going from the woods to the city to do our field trip, back to the woods to the classroom to try and analyze our deal, you know? So it wasn't really workable. So we got, this is why we're here. I know the parking's not the greatest, but it's pretty centrally located. That if we need to get out and look at a house, we can come back here and then see what kind of repairs it needs. So, apologizing again for the parking. Sorry, guys. So, Regina, she's here. I went through the 6-week program with Laurel, just received my first check today, got my first house under contract during that 6 weeks. I learned much. I'm going to continue to learn and continue to grow with Laurel. I'm grateful for the opportunity and the space that we share to build, and that's Regina Allen from Milwaukee. Who's right here in front row. One of my team leaders. So, wholesale is only one way you can make money in real estate. There's lots of different ways, but we're going to concentrate heavily on wholesaling. So, do you know in this group, Laurel's Real Estate Training, anyone venture a guess? What's our fastest flip?
2 weeks.
You know, getting it under contract and then passing it off to another investor. What do you think is the fastest time we've done that? Any guesses?
8 days.
4 days?
In the class,
8 days.
in the class itself.
Under our umbrella of everyone who's in the group. Because that's the power of this training, is that you get to cherry pick deals from each other.
Right.
That's the power. That's the power. Or do you want to go it alone? Now, if you want to go it alone and go out on Craigslist, have fun. But it's so much more fun in the group. And it's becoming like a family. But actually, our record is 7 minutes.
In the class, right?
In the class, yes. I knew I had a gal who wanted a prehab in the worst way, and another gal got it under contract. We had to double close. We had to bring in private money, and so we needed help. Pull it all together. But these two